Almost 30 years since we started what in 90s came to be known as the 360 degree feedback. We started 360 degree feedback in mid 80s at the Indian Institute of Management, Ahmedabad. On my return from XLRI, I found many times whenever I conducted programs using instrumented feedback, people telling me, "Professor, you gave me a questionnaire and interpreted my own responses. It's quite nice to know about myself with new labels, but I am more interested in knowing what others think of me." It is this desire on the part of many executives that got me to think of a methodology where we collected anonymous feedback from people who worked with you and gave a feedback after preparing you to receive the feedback. This is what later came to be known as 360 degree feedback. We tried with different kinds of groups, and very interestingly, the categories of people whom I found most reluctant to get any 360 degree feedback are those who facilitate 360 for others, and that is the HR managers. Next category where I found a high degree of reluctance are the institutional heads. I tried with several heads of institutions, both in the schools as well as in higher education, to suggest that they should seek feedback from their faculty, from maybe the students, from administrative staff and other stakeholders, so that they can at least get to know the expectations of these people from them. Nobody can hurt you without your permission. Nobody can hurt. 360 degree feedback does not mean that you should accept every feedback that is given to you. It is humanly impossible to accept every single feedback and act on it. This is because quite often feedbacks are often reflective of the feedback giver's preferences rather than the feedback receiver's preferences. That is why we always assure 360 degree feedback seekers, it is good for you to know the kind of chemistry you are generating, and also to know the kind of stakeholders you have in terms of the expectations they share with you. When they say somebody is disappointed with your performance, or a professor says that he is not happy with your performance on a particular item, because 360 pins down the feedback to an item. Like a professor may say he is not very happy with the way you are managing the performance appraisal of faculty and providing incentives. Or they may say that you are underplaying research or overplaying research. Now this may come from 1%, 2%, 10% of the people, 15% of the people, maybe 80% of the people. This is what the 360 indicates, and this is a great information for you either to change yourself or to work with the concerned people to change their expectations. In both cases you stand to gain. So quite often there is a misunderstanding that 360 degree feedback is political. It provides an opportunity for the other person to wash his or her dirty linen in the 360, and so on and so forth. These apprehensions are more reflective of your own insecurity as an institutional head. I have seen many school principals very warmly receive the 360 degree feedback. However, one small negative item I found them to be very emotionally reacting. This comes out of a very high ego, and doesn't matter. It does. Some of those who have been very successful principals can afford to have a little bit of an ego, so there is no harm. But I think you should be willing to appreciate the points that have been made, which will help you to deserve more of such kind of an ego in future if you like to have such an ego. So a 360 degree feedback is a great tool to sensitize you to the expectations of other people, and it helps you to know what your faculty think, what parents think, what students think, and whatever are the appropriate stakeholders, alumni think, and so on. So it's high time that institution builders, directors of institutes, deans of institutes, administrators of schools, all school leaders undertake a short 360 degree feedback assignment. You don't need always an outsider to do this for you. You can get it done by one of your own internal changes, and a trusted person, including your own, if you have a HR manager or a faculty whom you can trust. But if you can't find them, there are many tools you can generate. You can create a self-generated tool and use 360-degree feedback. It is high time leaders of schools, colleges, universities, national institutions, you are in the business of building the future of this country. If you are insecure, if you consider everything as politics, if you are afraid to seek feedback, God save this country and God save your institution. You are a very important leader. You can do wonderful things. Be a little open. And all the best from us, because it's fun when you undertake a 360-degree feedback. It's fun to know and learn about the expectations of others. All the best, and I hope to see many undertaking this particular work.